Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining. Let's get started with our Mangalacharan prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशिता वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरी भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तनयाय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। कम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वर। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you once again. My humble obeisances to each and every one of you. Vancha kalpa tarubhascha kripa sindhu vayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाए, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाए, all the assembled Vaishnavas की जाए। So we are in the Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is chapter number 7. Chapter number 7 entitled is Schedule Incarnations of the Lord. And these scheduled incarnations of the Lord was explained by Lord Brahma to Narad Muni. So after explaining about all the creation, who carries out the creation, maintenance and resolution of this universe, now the Lord Brahma is telling to Narad Muni about the various incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Various incarnations, which includes the Guna avatars, the Leela avatars, the Manvantara avatars, the Shaktavesh avatars. All the different avatars have been explained. These avatars that are being explained by Lord Brahma, they may not be in the chronological order, but just to inform Narad Muni, he is explaining about these different avatars. So we have seen quite a few. We have talked about Varaha avatar, the Lord coming in the boar incarnation. We saw how the Lord come as the son of Ruchi and Akuti, as Yagna, who was later taken by Swayambhu Manu. Then we saw the son of Kardama and Devahuti came as Kapila. Then we saw the son of Atri and Anusuya who came as Dattatreya. Then we saw the 4 Kumaras that appeared when Brahma underwent lot of austerities for creation. Then we saw the Nara-Narayan Rishis who came as the son of Murti and Dharma. Then we saw Prishni Gharva, who was the son of Prishni and came, and he was the one who came face to face in front of Dhruva Maharaj, and he awarded Dhruvaloka to Maharaj Dhruv. Then we saw the son of Vena, Prithu Maharaj, who came, and finally he milked the earth and drew all the crops as produce. Then we saw the son of Sudevi and Nabi as Rishabhadev, and about all his 100 sons, and one of his sons was Maharaj Bharat, after which his entire Bharatvarsh is known as Bharatvarsh. Then we saw the Hayagriva incarnation, and in Hayagriva we were told that there are two. One is Hayagriva, who came as the Lord's incarnation, protected the Vedas, and there is another Hayagriva demon who stole those Vedas. But when Lord came as Hayagriva, we killed Madhu and Kaitava. Then we saw Matsya incarnation. Lord came as fish, in the form of a fish, and protected Saptavata Muni and all the other munis and birds during the time of devastation. Then the Lord came as Kurma avatar, very sweet incarnation in the form of a tortoise. It has been explained that when the Samudra Manthan happened, the churning of the ocean, and who churned? It was one side was demigods, another side was demons. And the rope was Vasuki, and the pivot was Mandara mountain. And it was the Shirsar, ocean of milk. They churned to get the nectar. But then the Mandara mountain was sinking. So somebody should be there below to hold that Mandara mountain on his back. And at that time, the Supreme Lord got a niche on his back. Now, who can satisfy his itch? It was the mountain, Mandara mountain. And then the Lord took the form of Kurma and hold that Mandara mountain on his back. Then we saw a very sweet incarnation of Lord Narasimhadev, who just came to annihilate Hiranyakashipu and to protect Prahlad Maharaj. It looks like that we say always that Lord Narasimhadev came for a 5-year-old boy, Prahlad. Yeah, it looks like that he came to protect Prahlad. But actually, Prahlad was totally convinced that my Lord Vishnu is present in every atom. So why not in this pillar? He was convinced. Actually, Lord Narasimhadev appeared from the pillar to teach Hiranyakashipu that, see, whatever your son is saying is right. So to convince Hiranyakashipu, Lord came as Narasimha. So, and then we saw a very sweet incarnation of Lord Hari. Hari came, and he was the one who protected Gajendra, who was attacked by crocodile. Gajendra, who was King Indradyumna in his previous life, was being cursed by Agastya Muni. Agastya Muni came to his hermitage, and Indradyumna Maharaj didn't pay any respects to him because he was in his meditation. He didn't know that the sage has come. But Agastya Muni thought that it's deliberately King Indradyumna is not paying any respects to me, and he cursed him to become an elephant. So there also, it's the teachings that we get to learn. Actually, all these Narasimha Avatar, Hari Avatar, protected Gajendra, will all be explained in detail in the further cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. But in this incarnation of Gajendra, where King Indradumna was cursed, where they specifically explain it's the realizations of the acharyas, that how when the sage curse their disciples or devotees, it's actually a blessing in disguise. At that time, we don't feel it, but actually, it's a blessing. Now, King Indradyumna was totally absorbed in his meditation. He became an elephant, a dull-headed elephant. Narad Muni cursed the son of Kuvera, Manigreva and Nalakuvera. They became trees, but where? In the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So when the such curse and chastisement comes, either from the Lord or from the spiritual master, it's a blessing in disguise. Imagine if King Indradumna would have been performing his austerities and his meditation. It would have taken so many lifetimes for him to come to the abode of the Supreme Lord. But just with one curse, he got a life of elephant. And in the life of elephant, Gajendra, when he was attacked by crocodile, he called out the Supreme Lord. And Lord Hari came running, not even waiting for his Garuda, not even wearing his uttariya, not even wearing his sandals, his padukas. He just came running to protect Gajendra. And just in one lifetime, Gajendra was liberated and finally attained the spiritual world. So, and also we see that he is there in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, that itself describes his glorious life. So now Lord Brahma is continuing, and we will also continue studying along with Lord Brahma the 17th verse, which I was told. And this 17th verse is describing about Vamanadev, the Lord coming as a dwarf Brahmana to take everything from Maharaj. I'll read one verse and then probably I'll love everybody to take turn in reciting Sanskrit. It's very sweet. So please be prepared and you all can take turns in reciting Sanskrit as well as the translation. Jayan Guneravarajyopi Aditi Sutanam Lopan Vichakrama Iman Yadathadiyagna Shamam Vamanena Jagre Tripachalena Yacham Rite Pathicharan Prabhubhirna Chalya. Translation. Yes, Sadambali Mataji, you want to read the translation?
Yes, Mataji. Translation. The Lord, although transcendental to all material modes, still surpassed all the qualities of the sons of Aditi, known as the Adityas. The Lord appeared as the youngest son of Aditi, and because he surpassed all the planets of the universe, he is the supreme personality of Godhead. On the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. He asked simply because without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possession. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So now here it's been described about Vaman Avatar. So the Lord coming as Vaman Avatar being explained here, and our what's his name? Jayadev Goswami in his Dashavatara Stotra, he explains about this Vamanadev. छलयसि विक्रममे बलेनाद्भुतवामना पदनखनैरजनिता जनपावना केशवधृता वामन रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे. So this Vamanadev, who was the son of Aditi and Kashyap. So when Bali Maharaj was there, he conquered all the heavenly planets, earthly planets, even the lower planetary system. Everything was under Maharaj Bali. In detail, we will study about this pastime in the 7th canto, Krishna willing. And so this Bali Maharaj, when he conquered everything, then Indra and with all the demigods, they were practically homeless. They were running hither and thither because they had no stay to take shelter. Indra, along with his brothers, they came to his mother, Aditi. The son of Aditi, they are known as Adityas. And the son of Diti, they are known as Daityas. So it's the cousins only who have conquered them, the son of Diti. And the Diti and Aditi were the sons, were the daughters of Daksha. Both were married to Kashyapa Muni. So Aditi, she went to Kashyapa Muni and she told that, no, this is the situation and I want my sons to get back their kingdom. And then Maharaj Kashyap, he told that you should perform Payavrata. Means it's a vrata that you should do for pleasing Lord Vishnu and just drinking milk, paya. And also there are a lot of other rules and regulations. So she performed that and finally she got Vamanadev as her son. Now he is also an Aditya because he is also the son of Aditi and Kashyap. But it has been explained by Brahmaji that he surpassed all the qualities of the sons of Aditi. All the other sons of Aditi, headed by Indra, had only one desire, that their kingdom should never be taken away. Whenever somebody performs any austerity on Bhuloka, Indra is the first one to be fearful. Because he always thinks that, oh, somebody is performing austerity on Bhuloka is just to get his kingdom. Always fearful. But such fear was not there in Vamanadev, also known as Upendra, the son of Indra. Oh, sorry, the brother of Indra. So the Lord appeared as the youngest son of Aditi and he surpassed all the qualities of the sons of Aditi. And he, on the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he came as a dwarf Brahmana. And he immediately went to Maharaj Bali, who was performing sacrifice at that time. And Bali Maharaj, though he was a Daitya, but he was very, very liberal to all the Brahmanas. So the Lord also took the form of a Brahmana and came and begged the 3 steps of footland. And we know that in 3 steps, in footsteps of land, he took everything from Bali Maharaj. Rather, just in 2 steps, he conquered the upper planetary system and the lower planetary system and the mid planetary system. Everything was taken away by Vamanadev. And he became Trivikrama. Vikrama, his step became so huge, humongous, that he, just with 1 step, he took away all the upper planetary systems. So he took away everything from Bali Maharaj. Now, someone can ask, well, the Supreme Lord, why he has to beg? He can take, why means, begging means you are begging and then you are doing chala. That's why Our Jayadev Goswami also says, Chalayasi Vikrame Bale Mataputavaman. He did chal. He became as dwarf Brahmana, and his footsteps would have been just very small piece of land. But then he grew in his size and took everything from Maharaj. So somebody can say, why the Lord has to do this kind of chal, this kind of thing just to take something from Bali Maharaj? He would have just conquered or attacked Bali Maharaj in any form. But our Brahmaji says he asked simply because without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possession. Yes, Bali Maharaj conquering the upper planetary system, the lower planetary system, and winning over was his rightful possession. He has complete right. First of all, he's a Daitya, he's a warrior. And he took away all that through right means. He attacked Indra. He attacked lower planetary system. And he became the king. So everything that came under the control of Maharaj Bali was a rightful possession. Nobody can claim on it. So therefore, the Supreme Lord cannot claim on whatever was conquered by Bali Maharaj. So the only way left was to beg, because Bali Maharaj was very, very liberal to the Brahmins. He would fulfill all the wishes of the Brahmins. Prabhupada writes in his purport, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, that the history of Bali Maharaj and his charity to Vamanadev, it will come in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Bali Maharaj conquered all the planets by rightful possession. This is very important. A king can conquer other kings by strength, and such possession is considered to be rightful. So Bali Maharaj possessed all the lands of the universe, and he happened to be very charitably disposed towards the Brahmanas. The Lord therefore pretended to be a beggar Brahmana, and he asked Bali Maharaj the 3 foots of land. Bali Maharaj was actually even stopped by his spiritual master Shukracharya, who warned him that this Brahmana is none other than Vishnu himself, who has come to pretend to be a beggar. But Bali Maharaj, first of all, he did not agree to the orders of his spiritual master. And then when he understood that this beggar is Vishnu himself, he at once agreed to give him all the charity that he was requesting. So this also shows that if the disciple is there and the spiritual master is taking that disciple against Lord Vishnu, then such spiritual master should be rejected. Otherwise, not following or defying the orders of the spiritual master is a great offense. But that spiritual master who is bona fide and who takes his disciple towards Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, if any spiritual master is taking his disciple against Lord Vishnu, then such spiritual master is not a bona fide spiritual master and should be rejected at once. And this has been portrayed very well in this episode of Bali Maharaj, where he did not agree to abide by the orders of his spiritual master, Shukracharya, and he rejected it completely. Bali Maharaj was, and by the agreement, Vamanadev covered all the lands of the universe with his first 2 steps only. And then there was no place where he could keep the 3rd step. And the promise was to take 3 steps of land. And finally, Bali Maharaj was very glad to receive the Lord's remaining step upon his head. So Maharaj Bali said, I'm still left, and you can keep your 3rd step on me. And that shows Bali Maharaj's Atmanivedana. which also shows that he lost everything that he possessed. That was all in all in his possession, all the planetary systems. But he lost everything. But did he really become a loser? No. He was blessed by the Lord's becoming his constant companion and doorman. So when Bali Maharaj offered himself to Vamanadev for the third step, Vamanadev pushed him to Sutalaloka. And there Bali Maharaj is there and he's still living, performing austerities. And Lord Upendra, Vamanadev, has been explained that he is as a doorman, standing right at the door of Sutalaloka to protect Bali Maharaj for any upcoming onslaught. So by giving everything to the cause of the Lord, one does not lose anything, but he gains everything that he could never otherwise expect. This is the major essence, you can say, of this entire episode. That by giving everything to the Lord, one does not lose anything. Sometimes we feel scared of even offering some amount of donation. Yes, donations should be given as per one's capability and capacity, but it should be given, especially those who are in the grahastha. Their duty is to give something in charity. And anything that is given, the charity in the mode of goodness, that has also been explained in the 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. No charity in good, ignorance and passion, but only the charity which is given for the cause of the Supreme Lord actually falls under the category of devotional service. At that time, one does not lose anything. Rather, he gains that he could have never otherwise expected. That's the beauty of giving something to the Supreme Lord. And that's what happened. Bali Maharaj, though he lost everything, but now the Supreme Lord is standing at his doorstep to protect him. And this same Bali Maharaj will be the next Indra in the next Manvantara. That's also been explained. That we are in the 7th Manvantara. Now, the 8th Manvantara then will start. At that time, Bali Maharaj will become the next Indra. Text 18. Somebody wants to recite? Yes, Sonamini Mataji.
नार्थो बलेरयमुरुक्रमपादशोचम् आपः शिक्षा धृतवतो विबुधाधिपत्यम् यो वै प्रतिश्रुतमृतेन चिकीर्षदन्यत् आत्मानमङ्गमनसा हरये भीमेने.
Very nice. Thank you. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, then we pronounce.
Well,
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. Bali Maharaj, who put on his head the water wash from the lotus feet of the Lord, did not think of anything besides his promise, in spite of being forbidden by his spiritual master. The king dedicated his own personal body to fulfill the measurements of the Lord's third step. For such a personality, even the kingdom of heaven, which he conquered by his strength, was of no value. Hare Krishna.
thank you, Nishana. So here again, Brahmaji is continuing about this episode of Bali Maharaj and Vamanadev, where Brahmaji is explaining that Bali Maharaj, he put on his head the water that has washed the lotus feet of the Lord. He did not think anything besides his promise. See, he gave the promise, so his whole soul thought process was that somehow he has to fulfill the promise. And in 2 steps only, Vamanadev took away all his possessions. So still the 3rd step was left. And then it's been explained that even though he was stopped by his spiritual master, Bali Maharaj gave himself. That, oh Lord, you can place your 3rd step on my head. And there, the Bali Maharaj, he became the epitome of one of the limb of devotional service, which is Atmanivedana. So the 9 processes of the limbs, not the process, but the limbs of devotional service have been described, where it starts with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedana. And for every limb, there is some or the other great personality who perfected their life by following that limb 100%. And here our Bali Maharaj is being accepted as the epitome of Atmanivedana. He gave himself to the Supreme Lord. And for him, giving everything to the Supreme Lord, even the kingdom of heaven, which he conquered by his strength, was of no value. Of course, on one side you have your possessions, and on the other side you have the Supreme Lord. Definitely one will choose. An intelligent man will choose the Supreme Lord. And that's what Maharaj Bali did. Bali Maharaj, by gaining the transcendental favor of the Lord in exchange of his great material sacrifice, was able to have a place in Vaikuntha Loka. Yes, Suta Loka is the Vaikuntha Loka of the lower planetary system, where the Lord as Upendra is staying there. Therefore, he was not at all a loser by sacrificing the kingdom of heaven. Rather, he was the great winner. In other words, when the Lord snatches away one's hard-earned material possessions and favors one with his personal transcendental service for eternal life, knowledge, and bliss, such taking away by the Lord should be considered a special favor upon a pure devotee. Krishna himself says, Yasyaham anugrahami harishya tadhanam shanain tato dhananam tajjanti yasya swajana dukkha dukkhita. Krishna says, Yasyaham anugraham. That's my anugraha. That's my special mercy on my devotee. When I take away their wealth. Harishya tadhanam shanai. Shanai means gradually I take the wealth. I deprive my devotee of all his wealth. Sounds scary, right? But when Krishna takes away, then no problem. So after taking the wealth, then he says, Swajana, I also take away his relatives, his friends, and I make him poverty-stricken. In this way, dukkha dukkhitana, my devotee suffers. But actually, then I give myself. Krishna is very, very, you can say, a hardcore possessor, not processor, possessor. He's very possessive. Krishna says that if you want me, you have to give away everything. Then only I'll come to you. For Arjuna also he asks, either you can take me, who's not going to fight in the battlefield, or you can take my entire Narayani Sena. An intelligent Arjuna, the devotee Arjuna, the friend Arjuna, accepted Krishna because he knows that with Krishna he can win over not just this battle of Kurukshetra, but may come any battle of this world. But he will be able to win over with the help of Lord Shri Krishna. So Krishna, who's very, very possessive, he makes this point that if you want me, you have to give up everything. Anasakti. You don't have to become attached to any kind of worldly pleasure or enjoyment. You have to give away everything. Now, don't think that this verse sounds very scary. And that's why people say it's better to worship some demigod than to worship Krishna. But if you see a long-term thing, if you'll see, then demigods, what they award, actually is temporary. It stays only in this world. But Krishna, what he awards, can go beyond this life. Whatever the demigods give, whatever benediction they can give, first of all, they have to give under the order of the spirit of the Supreme Lord only. They cannot give on their own. And whatever they will give will be material. With one life, it will be over. Material only in for one life. It will not be carried forward in another life also. But whatever Krishna gives can be carried forward from life after life. So he doesn't abandons his devotees. It looks like that Krishna makes poverty stricken or takes away everything from his devotee. But he takes away only those possessions which the devotee is using for his own sense gratification. If everything is used for Krishna's service, then Krishna doesn't take. He can rather give lot of opulence. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was the magistrate in High Court in Jagannath Puri, he wants to resign from his post because he thought that I don't get enough time to do my devotional activities, to write books, to write songs. And the Britishers, they were very happy with the way Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur used to work. So they said that in no way we can accept your resignation. So they started the train directly from his kutir, from his house to High Court in Jagannathpur. Straight, right from his house. Who will get this opulence? But this opulence to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was awarded by Krishna, because Krishna knew that such opulence will not make Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur maddened with opulence. Rather, this opulence he will use in my service only, because when he will get such facilities, his time will be saved and he will be able to perform more devotional activities. So in that regard, we have to understand that when a devotee becomes Mad, Srimad means when they are maddened with the opulence, with the Shri, with the wealth, then Krishna takes them. And Krishna gives himself to that devotee. Material possessions, however alluring they may be, cannot be a permanent possession. Therefore, one has to voluntarily give up such possessions, or one has to leave such possessions at the time of quitting this material body. In this regard also, there is a very beautiful saying that a miser person is the most charitable man. Well, you can say, how can the miser person be the most charitable man? Because he doesn't want to give anything in charity. He's miser, he wants to collect. But he is the most charitable. Other people, when they give charity, they give it with their hands. And when they give it with their hands, in return, they get some piety. But a person who is miser is such a great charitable man that he doesn't even touch the money. And he gives everything in charity. And he is neither worried of gaining any piety. No, this is in sarcastic way. Because how he will give everything in charity? It's after his death. After his death, voluntarily he didn't give anything. But he has to leave all his possessions at the time of quitting his material body. So it has been explained that, wow, what a great charitable man. And he didn't even touch his money while giving something in charity. Neither he incurred any piety. But we are not such people. We are devotees. And we should follow in the footsteps of Srila Rupa Goswami. In his own present life, he gave everything in charity with his own hands. That's how the devotees should be. He should not be a miser person, because it's better to give something voluntarily than rather leaving all these possessions at the time of quitting this material body. Because we'll not be able to carry anything beyond this body, not even a needle. The sane man knows that all the temporary material possessions, they are temporary, and the best use of such possession is to engage them in the service of the Supreme Lord. Then Prabhupada is quoting these two wonderful verses, that when we do and use everything in the service of the Supreme Lord, Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivitta kama dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha samyar gacchante moda padamavvayam tat. So when we have nirmana moha, when we are free from all prestige, when jitasanga dosha, when we are free from all false association, all illusion, moha, and understand adhyatma nitya, and understand something which is eternal, which is free from vinivritta kama, which is free from material lust. And not only that, dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha samyar, also freed from all the dualities of happiness and distress. And he is unbewildered. And what is his destination? Destination is gacchante amuda padam avvayantat. Then he will, after surrendering everything to the Supreme Lord, he will attain the Supreme Kingdom, the eternal kingdom of the Supreme Lord. And that kingdom, which is na tadbhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yat katvana nivartate tadhama. That supreme spiritual world, which is not even enlightened, illusioned by any artificial means of some external source of surya or electricity or fire. It is 100% illusioned on its own. Illuminated on its own. No external source is required to illuminate the spiritual world. And Krishna says, Yad Gatavana Nivartante Tadhama. Anyone who comes to my abode will come with only one way ticket. He doesn't have to take the two-way tickets. So we are contaminated in the material world by the association of three modes of material nature. So what we have to do, one who is more spiritually advanced by devotional service, in exchange of his temporary possession, the more one is freed from the attachment of material illusion. So you can read this perfect. Prabhupada is explaining about how we can achieve this perfect kingdom. The primary information of this kingdom is given where there is no sun, no electricity. But how can you achieve that kingdom? Only through the process of Bhakti Yoga, which is the highest perfection of life. Those who have attained the comforts of the material civilization, which are made for sense gratification, should try to attain the kingdom of God by following the footsteps of Bali Maharaj. Means using all their possessions voluntarily in the service of the Supreme Lord. That is the process of Bhakti Yoga. Otherwise, it will be taken. It will be taken. Just like for the miser man, it will be taken. Text 19. Yes, Padmini Mataji.
Can I try, Mataji?
Go ahead, Mataji.
दुभ्यं श नारद पृशं भगवान् विवृत्त भावने साधु परिदुष्ट उवास योगं ज्ञानं स भागवतम् आत्म सतत्वदीपं यत्वा शुदेव शरणा विदुरञ्च सैव.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Very nice. Translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I say?
Mm-hmm.
O Narada, you were taught about the science of God and his transcendental loving service by the personality of Godhead in his incarnation of Hamsavatara. He was very much pleased with you due to your intense proportion of devotional service. He also explained unto you lucidly the full science of devotional service, which is especially understandable by persons who are soul surrendered unto Lord Vasudev, the personality of Godhead.
Right. Thank you, Mataji. So now, after describing about Maharaj Bali, our Brahmaji describes about Hamsa Avatar, the white incarnation. And this Lord who came as Hamsa Avatar, he instructed Narad Muni on this process of Bhakti Yoga. Vivritta Bhavena, seeing the devotional mood of Narad Muni, Hamsa Avatar gave this knowledge to Narad Muni. Knowledge of what? There are two kinds of knowledge that is being described. One is the knowledge of Bhagavan, and the other is the knowledge of Bhakta. Knowledge of Bhagavan is the object of devotion, where Krishna is the object of devotion. And the knowledge of Jiva, who follows this process of Bhakti, takes the shelter of Bhakti, and then progress in one's spiritual life. So here, it has been actually in Vishnu Dharmottara, which is a scripture, it has been explained that Lord Hamsa, he spoke about this Bhakti Yoga to Narad Muni. And he didn't speak of any Jnana or Ashtanga. He spoke purely on the process of Bhakti Yoga. Prabhupada writes, the devotee and the devotional service, Bhakta and Bhakti, they are the two correlative terms. Unless one is inclined to be a devotee of the Lord, he cannot enter into the intricacies of devotional service. So to progress in the path of Bhakti, you have to become a Bhakta. Lord Krishna wanted to explain Bhagavad Gita, which is the science of devotional service, unto Lord Arjun, unto Sri Arjun, because Arjun was not only his friend, but a great devotee as well. Krishna himself says, Bhaktosmi Sakha Cheti. That's why I'm giving you this Guhyatam knowledge, very, very confidential knowledge. The whole process is that all the living entities, they are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Namai Vamsha Jiva Lord, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So the preliminary qualification for entering into the devotional service of the Lord is that one become a willingly cooperator. And as such, one should voluntarily cooperate with persons who are engaged in the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. So this is what? Willingly become a cooperator. And then voluntarily cooperate with other people. This is what is known as sadhu sangha. When we are in the association of other devotees, like-minded devotees, and then working with them cooperatively, we progress in our spiritual life. This sadhu sangha will make the prospective candidate learn the techniques of devotional service, bhajana kriya. And then with the progress of such learning, one becomes proportionately free from the contamination of material association. That is anartha nivritti. After such a purificatory process, after this anartha nivritti, will establish the prospective candidate in firm faith, that is nishtha, and gradually elevate him to the stage of transcendental taste, that is ruchi, for such devotional service. Thus, he acquires a genuine attachment for the devotional service, asakti, and his conviction carries him on to the point of ecstasy, that is bhava, which is just prior to the stage of transcendental love, which is prema. So Prabhupada has described all the 9 processes of devotional service such sweetly in this purport. And it starts with when one willingly enter into this path of Bhakti Yoga and cooperate with his fellow members. That is the preliminary qualification, to work cooperatively with our fellow devotees. That is what is in this sadhu sangha. Such knowledge of devotional service, again, can be divided into 2. One is the nature of devotional service, and secondary knowledge of its execution. Bhagavatam is in relationship with the personality of God, which explains all the qualities, his beauty, his fame, his opulence, his dignity, his attraction, his qualities, which attract one towards for exchanging love and affection. There is a natural affinity of the living entity for the loving service of the Lord. And Srimad Bhagavatam actually genuinely remove any artificial covering. Therefore, it is particularly mentioned here that Srimad Bhagavatam acts like a lamp of transcendental knowledge. Yes, Srimad Bhagavatam, even our Srila Sanatana Goswami in his Krishna Lila Stava, while glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satphala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Trikpada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavatam Prabhu Kalidvanto Dyaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha. Srimad Bhagavatam is the nectar which is churned from the Abdi, from the ocean of all the Sarva Shastras. It is the essence of all the Vedic scriptures. Sarva Vedaika Satphala, it is the very prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas. Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya, Ratna means the jewel. It is the jewel of all the philosophical conclusion, crest jewel. Sarva Lokaika Drikvada. And it is accepted, it is visioned by all the spiritualists as all in all. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, it is the life and breath of all the Vaishnavas. This Srimad Bhagavata, which is Prabhu, which is a master. And then Kali Dhvanto Aditya, and just it is like a sun, Aditya. It is like a sun that has arisen to dispel the darkness of ignorance of this world, especially in this age of Kali Yuga. Shri Krishna Parivartita. It's actually Krishna who has come as Srimad Bhagavata. Krishna Swadhama Bhagavate Dharma Jnana Adibhisaha Kalau Nashta Drisham Esha Punartho Tanurtita. So when Krishna goes back to his abode, so along with Krishna goes what? Dharma, Jnana, everything he takes back. But then Sutta Goswami was being asked by the sages of Naimisharanya that how these people of Kali Yuga will take shelter, whom they will take shelter of, how they will be liberated. And then Sutta Goswami says that Kalau Nashta Drishamesha, in this Kali Yuga, those people who have lost the spiritual vision, everything will come back. Why? Because they will get light from this Bhagavad Pran. Punar Artho Dhanodita. This Bhagavatam will be like a sun which will remove all the illusions of this Kali Yuga people, and they will be permanently illuminated by the light of this Quran. So it is like the lamp of transcendental knowledge. It's through Srimad Bhagavatam only that we will be able to understand the correlation between Bhakti and Bhakta. Moving forward, verse number 20, where he will be describing, Brahmaji will be describing about Manvantaras, Manvantara avatar. Yes, Kiran Mataji, you want to read, recite?
Haribol. Chakram tadriksha avihatam ashasu swatejo manvantareshu manuvamsadharo vibharti tušteshu rajasu damam vyadhat swakritim satye triprishta ushatim prata pratya sacharitara.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice. Somebody can read the translation.
As the incarnations of Manu, the Lord became the descendant of the Manu dynasty and ruled over the miscreant kingly order, subduing them by his powerful wheel weapon. Unredded in all circumstances, his rule was characterized by his glorious fame, which spread over the three lokas, and above them to the planetary systems of Satyaloka, the topmost in the universe.
Yeah. So in this verse, the Lord Brahma, thank you, Mataji, described about the Manvantara avatar. So we know, Prabhupada is writing, that in one day of Brahma, there are how many Manus? 14 Manus. Right now, the seventh Manu, the seventh Manvantara is going on, and our Manu is Vaivasvata Manu, who is the son of Vivasvan, sun god. And the first Manu was Swayambhu Manu. So there are 14 Manus in verse 1 day of Brahma. So 1 day of Brahma is around 1000 Divya Yugas. So if you divide 1000 by 14, it comes roughly by 71 point something, or roughly around 72 Divya Yugas is the reign of one Manu. And after that, the Manu changes. So there are 420 Manus in 1 month of Brahma, and 540 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. And our Brahma lives for 100 years, so there are 504,000 Manus in 1 life of Brahma. And there are innumerable Brahmas. And all of them live during 1 breathing period of Mahavishnu. So we can imagine how the incarnations of the Supreme Lord work all over the material worlds, which comprehend only 1/4 of the total energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Ekapad Vibhuti. That is why it has been explained that the incarnations of the Supreme Lord are the waves in the ocean. Just like the waves of the ocean cannot be counted, the incarnations of the Supreme Lord also cannot be counted. Innumerable incarnations. And in every Manvantara, when the Manvantara starts, there are few things that gets changed. The Manu gets changed. The Manu gets changed. Every Manvantara will have a different Manu. Manu Putras will be changed. The Lord incarnation will be different. Sometimes the Lord comes as Yagna, sometimes as Hari, sometimes as Krishna Garbha. And in all those incarnations, the Lord have different activities also to perform. It's not that he performs the same activity. In every Manvantara, the Lord, when he comes as a different incarnation, he has a different activity to perform. And then the Indra also changes. The demigod Indra also gets changed in every Manvantara. Like just now I saw that right now in this 7th Manvantara, our Indra is Purandara. But in the 8th Manvantara, which will be the next, Indra will be Bali Maharaj. So Indra gets changed. And then we have 6th is the Sapt Rishis also gets changed. So this way, many things, they are changed in every Manvantara. But the point here is that even the Lord, he comes with different incarnation in every Manvantara and he performs different activities. And while performing his activities, he has his Sudarshan Chakra and he protects with his Sudarshan Chakra. He punished the evil kings and he spread his glories up to the Satyaloka, which is above the 3 worlds. So the Manvantara incarnations, he chastises all the miscreant rulers of different planets with as much power as that of the Supreme Lord, who punishes the miscreants with his Sudarshan Chakra, wheel weapon. And the Manvantara incarnations decimate the transcendental glories of the text 21. And now Brahma will be explaining about Dhanvantari avatar. Yes, Praladanand, please go ahead.
धन्वन्तरिश्च भगवान् स्वयमेव कीर्तिर् नाम्नां नृणां पुरुरजां आसुहन्ति यज्ञे च भागममृतायुर्भावरुन्ध आयुष्यभेदम् अनुशास्य वर्धीय लोके. Hari.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice. Yes, somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The Lord, in his incarnation of Dhanvantari, was very quickly cured the diseases of the ever diseased living entities simply by his fame personified. And only because of him do the demigods achieve long lives. Thus, the personality of Godhead becomes ever glorified. He also exacted a share from the sacrifices, and it is he only who inaugurated the medical science or the knowledge of medicine in the universe.
Yeah,
Hare
thank
Krishna.
you, Vaibhav. So this is the incarnation of Dhanvantari who came during the churning of milk ocean. So when this churning happens by the demigods and the daityas, the main reason they were churning is to get the pot of nectar, as been explained by the Supreme Lord. And that's the reason both of them, they make a truce. And finally, they churned the ocean. Because both the demigods and the daityas, the Adityas and the daityas, they want this nectar. And so many things came out from that ocean. But finally, the pot of nectar came out. And who held that pot of nectar was this Dhanvantari. And he is being explained that he is the one who inaugurated the medical science of the knowledge of medicine in the universe. So he is the real Ayurveda doctor, the source of all the medical knowledge, medical sciences, actually the Lord Dhanvantari. And when he came, he held that nectar, held that pot, which was filled with nectar, and it was snatched by the Daityas. And finally, the Lord has to come as Mohini Murti, who allured all these demons by his physical beauty and gave all the nectar to the demigods. And we know that how Rahu also came this side, and finally Rahu sat between sun and moon and got this nectar, because of which his head was slayed, and then because his nectar went up to the throat. So this part was known as Rahu, which is the life, and the body is what is Ketu. That's all, everything will be described in the 7th canto again. But the point here, what Srila Prabhupada is saying is that, as stated in the beginning, of everything emanates from the ultimate source of the personality of God. He is the ultimate source. Whatever knowledge, whatever Vedanga, whatever the limbs of the Vedas we see, ultimately everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. It is therefore understood in this verse that even the medical science was inaugurated by Dhanvantari incarnation. The embodied living entity is diseased by the very construction of this body. The body is a symbol of diseases. And the disease may differ from variety. The form may be different, but everybody is suffering for some or the other problem, because we are in this cycle of birth and death. So by the grace of the personality of Godhead, not only the diseases of the body and mind are cured, but the soul is also relieved of the constant constant repetition of birth and death. The name of the Lord is also known as Bhava Aushadhi. Bhava means this material existence, and Aushadhi means the medicine, the source of curing the disease of material existence. So this is the Dhanvantari avatar that is being described. And now, in text 22, we will be describing about Parshuram. Somebody wants to read? Yes, Praladananda Prabhu, you want to add something?
Yes, Mata, Dharma Pranam. I heard Sripada Radha Govind Swami in this connection of Dhanvantari, that every one of us take some medicine sometime for some reason or other. And when taking like that, we should remember Dhanvantari Bhagavan.
Yeah.
That's how he has mentioned like that. Just remember this slok, or just say Sri Dhanvantari, Sri Dhanvantari, Sri Dhanvantari, like that 3 times. He has mentioned it in one of his lectures like that. So I just wanted to share that.
Arad is very sweet and he connects everything to the Supreme Lord. Yes, because the source is Dhanvantari. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And you are also a doctor by profession. So especially the doctors, their worshipable Lord is Dhanvantari. Okay. Somebody can read text 22.
Hare Krishna, Mother. I can try.
Yeah, go ahead.
The sloka, right? Shatram Shayaya Vidhino Pabhritam Mahatma Brahmadrug Ujita Patham Narakarti Lipsu Udhantya Sav Avanikantakam Ugraviryas Trishapta Kritva Urudhara Paraswadhena.
Somebody can read the translation.
When the ruling administrators, who are known as the Kshatriyas, turned astray from the path of the absolute truth, being desirous to suffer in hell, the Lord, in his incarnation as the sage Parshuram, uprooted those unwanted kings who appeared as the thorns of the earth. Thus, he thrice, 7 times, uprooted the Kshatriyas with his keenly sharpened chopper. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is talking about the Parshuram avatar. Parshuram, who was the son of
Renuka, I think, Mataji.
Renuka and
Jamadagni.
Jamadagni. I don't know why this Jamadagni was not coming. I was thinking of Jaimini. Yes, Jamadagni and Renuka. He was the son of both of them. And Kartavirya Arjun actually attacked Jamadagni. First, he took away his cow, Kamadhenu. He was a Hayya king. The dynasty belonged. Hayya dynasty was the king of that Hayya dynasty. And when he killed Jamadagni, at that time, Parshuram took this vow. So this Kartavirya Arjun was a very ardent follower of Dattatreya. And 1,000 Sahastra Bahu, is known as 1,000-armed. But then Parshuram finally killed him, and he took a vow of killing 21 generations of Kshatriyas. But those Kshatriyas who are not aligned with the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada mentions that actually the Kshatriyas, they're the ruling administrators, and their job is to lead the subjects or the citizens to the path of God realization. So every state, whether it's monarch or democracy, oligarchy or dictatorship or autocracy, the ruler is actually the representative of the Supreme Lord, and his main thing is to take all the citizens or the subjects towards the path of God realization. If they are not able to do their duty of Kshatriya properly, Kshatriya itself means Kshatriya iti, means those who protect, who gives protection. If they do not do their duty properly, then they have to be killed. And that's what Parshuram took on his shoulders, that I will take care of all those Kshatriyas who do not perform their duty well. And it has been explained that thrice 7 times. 7 times thrice means for 21 generations, he uprooted those Kshatriyas with his keenly sharpened chopper, that is axe. And our Jaidev Goswami also writes very beautifully, Kshatriya Ruthiramay Jagadagata Papam Snapayasi Payasi Smita Bhavatapam Keshavadrita Bhrigupati Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jayo Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare. So, our Parshuram, who is also known as Bhrigupati Rupa, he came. The whole creation of material existence is made for this purpose, just to give a chance to the fallen souls who rebelled against the will of the Supreme Father and thus become conditioned by the material nature. So this life is for us to prepare so that we can go back to our Supreme Lord. But the force of material nature gradually leads one to this hellish condition of perpetual pains and miseries. So those going against the prescribed routes, they are known as Brahmochita Pathas, or persons who are going against the path of absolute truth, and thus they are liable to be punished. And Lord Parshuram appeared in such a state of worldly affairs and killed these miscreant kings 21 times. Many Kshatriyas kings, they fled from India to other parts of the world at that time. And according to the authority of Mahabharata, the kings of Egypt originally migrated from India because of Parshuram's program of chastisement. The kings or administrators are similarly chastised in all circumstances whenever they become godless and plan a godless civilization. That is the order of the Almighty. Do we have time? Oh, yeah, 15 minutes. We can still finish these 3 verses about Lord Ram's incarnation. Somebody can read the translation. Oh, sorry, the verse.
Can you show the Devanagari, Mataji?
Oh, yeah, sure, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Ishvakuamsh avatirya. No, I think.
Asma.
Yeah, that I was not visible. Thank you. Asmat prasada sumukha kalaya kalesha Ishvakuamsha avatirya gironi deshe तिष्ठन्वनं सदयितानुज अविवेश यस्मिन् विरुद्ध दशकन्धर अर्तिमार्चत.
Jai. Thank you, Sham. It's good if we practice reciting from this Devanagari. It's very good. Somebody can read the translation.
Mataji, can I read?
Mm-hmm.
Due to his causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his planetary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaj Ikshvaku as the Lord of his internal potency, Sita. Under the order of his father, Maharaj Dasharatha, he entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother. Ravana, who was very materially powerful with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanquished. Thank you.
Thank you, Satyam. Just in one verse, Brahma has described the entire Ramayana. So we'll not go through the purport in detail because Prabhupada has stated the entire history of Lord Ramachandra, which we all are aware of. But this is very important, what Prabhupada explains about the 4 brothers, Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrugna. So first of all, we should pronounce this name properly. People call it Shatrughna. So that is not Shatrughna, it's Shatrugna. Gna refers to destroyer of the Shatrus. So he is Shatrugna. And these 4 brothers, they are Vishnu Tattvas. They are not ordinary living, mere mortal souls or human beings. And it has been explained that the four plenary expansions, Chaturvyuha, they came as the four brothers. So Chaturvyuha, we know that it is Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So Lord Rama is the incarnation of Vasudev, Lakshmana is the incarnation of Sankarshana, Bharata is the incarnation of Pradyumna, and Shatrughna is the incarnation of Aniruddha. And Lakshmi ji came as Sita Devi, which is the internal potency of the Lord. She should not be considered any ordinary woman. She should not be considered the Mahamaya or the external potency, that is Durga, because Durga is actually associated with Lord Shiva. So it's Lakshmi ji who came as Sita Devi. And then it has been explained that about Maharaj Dashrath, how he got the sons, and finally a promise that he gave to Kekai, because of which they all, three of them, means Lord Ramachandra, along with Lakshman and Sita Devi, they were banished, they were sent to exile. Lakshmana, actually Lord Ramachandra was sent, but Lakshmana and Sita Devi, they accompanied Lord Ramachandra. They entered the Dandakaranya forest, where all the sages were so captivated, seeing the beauty of Lord Ramachandra. And later all those sages came as Rishichari gopis in Dwaraka, in Dwapar Yuga, in Krishna Leela. And then we know about the golden deer. And then Ravana came, kidnapped Sita Devi. And finally Ravana was killed. So a materialistic man like Ravana does not understand this great truth. What is that truth? That one should not enjoy the goddess of fortune without Narayan. This is very, very important. We as devotees should take special care of this. Especially in the northern side of India, it is during Deepavali, they worship Lakshmi and Ganesh. So which is actually not correct, because their mood of worshipping Lakshmi and Ganesh is they want Lakshmi Devi so that Lakshmi can come, and they want to worship Ganesha who can remove all the material obstacles in their life. So what is this? This is just the selfishness. If you want to worship Lakshmi, worship her with Narayan. Without Narayan, don't get Lakshmi. And that's what Ravana did. He doesn't want Lord Ram, he just wants to enjoy Mother Sita. We know what was the result. So we should be very, very careful in this regard. The materialists who are after opulence and material prosperity may take lessons from Ramayana, that the policy of exploiting the nature of the Lord without acknowledging the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is the policy of Ravana. So we should not be Ravana mentality. We should always worship Lakshmi Devi along with Narayana. It has been explained that if we worship Lakshmi, only Lakshmi Devi, then her carrier is owl. She comes on owl. And we know what owl does. Everything topsy-turvy. So the life is also ruined with such Lakshmi. Because that Lakshmi is somebody wants to enjoy without Narayana. And if we worship Lakshmi Devi with Lord Narayan, then naturally she'll come with her husband on Garuda. And that Lakshmi is very, very helpful. And it also helps one in the spiritual path also. Because see, for spirituality also some kind of basic material possessions are needed. If somebody is really poverty-stricken, and it is very hard for them even to practice Krishna consciousness. So yes, that kind of Lakshmi, when it is worshipped with Narayan, it's very helpful for people. Text 24. Continuing this Rama incarnation only, our Brahmaji will recite this verse. Somebody wants to recite?
Can I try now to do?
Go ahead.
Yasma adakir uddhabhayangavepo margam sapadhi aripo puramaharavat dithaksho dure suharmati matita rosha suhona drishtya तातापयामनः मकरोरगा नक्राचक्राः Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nishant. Well tried. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The personality of Godhead Ramachandra, being agreed from distant intimate friend Sita, glanced over the city of enemy Ravana with red hot eyes, like those of Hava, who wanted to burn the kingdom of heaven. The great ocean, trembling in fear, gave in his way because its family members, the aquatics like the sharks, snakes, and crocodiles, were being burnt by the heat of the energy red hot eyes of the Lord.
Thank you, Sunil Prabhu. So here it is being described that how Lord Ramachandra, he wants to kill Ravana now. And he glanced over the city with his red hot eyes like those of Hara, like Lord Shiva. And we know about this pastime, how the Lord became angry on ocean when the ocean was not giving the way. And all the aquatic animals were trembling in fear. And finally, Varunadev came and he gave the suggestion that how Nalanila are being blessed by throwing stones, whatever stones they will throw in the ocean, they will float. And with that, the bridge was made, constructed. So the impersonalist will see havoc in this red hot sentiment of the Lord because they want to see negation in perfection. Because the Lord is absolute, the impersonalist imagine that in the absolute, the sentiment of anger, which resembles mundane sentiments, must be conspicuous by absence. So yes, even the Lord becomes angry, but that anger in the Lord is the transcendental anger. Due to the poor fund of knowledge, they do not realize that the sentiment of this absolute person is transcendental to all the mundane concept of quality and quantity. Had Lord Ramachandra's sentiment been of some mundane origin, how could it disturb the whole ocean and its inhabitants? Can any mundane red hot eye generate heat in the great ocean? These factors has to be considered. And that brings the difference between the personal and the impersonal conceptions of the Supreme Absolute Truth. Last verse for today, text 25, and then we'll start. So, yes, Gauranga Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vakshasthala Rugna Mahendravaha Dantair Vidambita Kakuja Jusha Uda Hasham Sadyo Shubhishaha Vineshati Dharahatu Vishpur Jitar Dhanusha Ucharato Dhishanya.
Thank you, Prabhu. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Sadar Pranam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When Ravana was engaged in the battle, the trunk of the elephant, which carried the king of heaven, Indra, broke in pieces, having collided with the chest of Ravana, and the scattered broken parts illuminated all directions. Ravana therefore felt proud of his prowess and began to loiter in the midst of the fighting soldiers, thinking himself the conqueror of all directions. But his laughter, overtaken by joy, along with his very air of life, suddenly ceased with the tingling sound of the bow of Ramchandra, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is how it happens when somebody is puffed up with their so-called opulence. That opulence may be fame, name, beauty, recognition, or strength whatsoever. When somebody is puffed up, they are very heavily beaten by the Supreme Lord. Their pride is crushed by the Supreme Lord. And same thing happened with Ravana. When he was in the battle with King Indra, at that time, the trunk of the elephant, the Iravata, which carried the king of heaven, Indra, it broke into pieces and collided with the chest of Ravana and scattered broken parts, illuminated all directions. And Ravana somehow felt proud of his prowess. But later, with one tingling sound of the bow of Ramachandra, his life here was taken. So this is what happens. However powerful a living being may be, when he is condemned by God, no one can save. Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. If Krishna has decided to kill someone, nobody can protect. If Krishna has decided to protect someone, nobody can be killed. And similarly, however weak one may be, if he is protected by the Lord, no one can annihilate him. Vitarasi dikshurane dhikpati kamaniyam dashamukha mauli balim ramaniyam keshavadhrita ram sharira jai jagdish hare jai jagdish hare jai jagdish hare. He came to destroy whom? Dikpati kamaniyam. Vitarasi dikshu rane dikpati kamaniyam dashamukha mauli. One who is 10-headed Ravana, he came to defeat. Who is actually Dikshu Rane Dikpati Kamaniyam. In the battle of Lanka, he destroyed the 10-headed Ravana and distribute his heads as a delightful offering to the 10 Digpalas. So all his 10 heads were destroyed, and those 10 heads were actually distributed as an offering to all the Digpalas, to all the presiding deities of the 10 directions. And he was killed. And that Keshava came as Rama Sharira, came as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, came as Lord Ramachandra. So we will stop here. And this verse 26 onwards, the beautiful incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna, who came as Lord Shri Krishna, the Swayam Bhagwan Krishna, who came, will be described by Brahmaji to Narada. So we will stop. Thank you all so much. Yes, Sonamani Sundari Mataji, we have something to say, add.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for this class. I had one question, Mataji. Like we already read that whenever Lord incarnates, he has some purpose. For some purpose, Lord takes incarnation. So the details may change, no, Mataji. I heard in Katha that the details of his activities may change. Like every time the Lord will not perform the same pastime. Exactly.
No, of course not. Of course not.
But my question is, the purpose also changes, or like every time the Lord incarnates, like Lord Ramchandra came to kill Ravan. Every time when Lord Ram comes, this purpose remains the same, or it also changes?
The purpose remains same. The purpose is of the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, the main purpose. Yes, we see that he annihilates the miscreants, he protects his devotees, but his main purpose is to reclaim the fallen souls.
Oh, achha, that main purpose.
That's his main purpose. Whether he fights or whether he doesn't fight. But yes, external reason may be that, paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrita. But his main reason is to show anugraha, to reclaim the fallen souls. That is his main purpose. So that he can perform pastimes with his devotees.
Yeah. So then, Mataji, like Hamsa Avatar came to teach Narad Muni. So
Huh.
next time when he comes, he may or may not do the same thing.
Huh. Huh. The details may get changed. Like in the third canto, in the following canto, we will read how Varahadev came. But one is Shweta Varaha, one is Rakta Varaha, Neela Varaha. So one time he came just to rescue Mother Earth. But another time he came, he rescued Mother Earth also, he killed Hiranyaksh also. So the details may get changed, but ultimate is to reclaim the fallen souls.
Yeah. So that's why, like, if the Acharya's commentary, if they do not match always, so we can take like that, no Mataji.
That is Kalpabhed. If it doesn't match, we can take it as a Kalpabhed because Bhagwan comes in every day of Brahma. And we have seen a lot of Manvantara avatars. Every Manvantara Bhagwan is coming. So there may be some differences.
Thank you.
Your daughter is doing very well. I'm seeing her, reciting shlokas, writing essays. Very nice.
Mataji, writing essays, where did you see?
I have many sources.
Oh. Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, dear devotees. We will stop here. Let's offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas and we will continue this Srimad Bhagavatam on Thursday. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuva eva cha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, all the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai.
Mataji ki jai. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so much.
Mataji. Dandal Pranam Mataji.